Howdy, folks. It is Mrs. Johnson, once again, super late at night on a Thursday. But we're going to talk really quick about how to convert fractions over to decimals because it happens a lot in agriculture. And then this might be the only math video that I upload this week because I did lots and lots of, I've been doing lots of like fundamental stuff the last couple weeks and I'm kind of over it. But I need to talk about this before I jump into my garden video that I want to record this week. So, fractions to decimals. How do we convert between one and another? You'll see that I have actually made a line graph of 0 to 1 in quarters line graph with jumps of a quarter each time, with decimals in red, fractions in blue. So how do we go from fractions to decimals and back? Right? How would we go back and forth? Let's say we start with half, right? And we want to go from fractions over to decimals. 1/2, 1 over 2 has a fraction, is equal to 1 divided by 2. That is the structure of fractions. Fractions are designed to look like a division symbol because you're dividing one piece into two pieces. Therefore, you get parts of a whole. So if I were to type that into a handy dandy calculator, most of the time calculators are not going to give you fractions, they're going to give you decimals. Right? So I could type it into my calculator. 1 divided by 2 equals 0.5. And you could do very similar things backwards. Right, 0.5. How many pieces can I put into one hole and get 0.5? There's math to do that most of the time. I use conversions. But in my next video, I talk a lot about inches in decimals. Decimals, I should mention, decimals are not the same thing as percentages. Percentages, we'll pick a new color. Percentages are equal to decimals. Oh, hold on. Let me spell things right. Decimals to the 100th place, or 0.0x. So you want two spaces after that decimal point and not one. So how would we convert 0.05 over to a decimal form? Well, we would essentially, in this case, just add a 0. 0.050 would be the decimal, because there's nothing more, nothing less than 0.5. So 0 is our placeholder. We put 0 there. That's how we convert over to percentages. And we can do that with pretty much everything. So, yeah. We can also do that from fraction form directly, right? As I said, I've been dealing last week or so a lot with inches being in square feet. So let's do an example. And let me change my colors, right? So if I wanted to do, let's say I had something that was 3 inches out of 12 feet, right? I can convert that over to, I can reduce that down to whatever the applicable number is, right? And I know that because 3 divided by 12, or 12 divided by 3 is 4, right? And I can divide both of these by 3. Ugh, my pen is not working. I can divide both of these by 3, and I will eventually do a video. You know what? Hold on. Let me rewrite this. Divide both of these by 3 over 3, because 3 over 3 is 1. And just like dimensional analysis, I'm not changing the value of 3 over 12, 3 inches and a foot of 12 inches. I'm just changing the way the numbers are presented. So 3 divided by 3 is 1, 12 divided by 3 is 4. And I know this is accurate because 3 divided by 3 is 1, 12 divided by 3 is 4. If I were to get, I know these are equivalent fractions because if I were to get a decimal in there or a fraction in a fraction, I would know that they're doing weird things and they're not really equivalent. So as long as this number in the middle, it equals to 1, and I don't have weird mishaps happening on my numbers, you're good to go. Those are like straight conversions. You're not going to have to do any janky math, right? So we are in fractions. Now that we're at a quarter, right, we can convert that over to decimals. And again, you can type it in your calculator, but if we look at our number line, also, you can draw it out. We know that, right, 1/4 is equal, in this case, 1/4 of a foot is equal to 1 divided by 4. So 1 piece divided into 4 sections, which we know based on our little graph that we drew is 0.25. Now, in order to put it into decimal form, we just have to make sure that it's got just those 2 decimals. Decimal places, that it is rounded or zeroed to the 100th place in decimals. I forget what this specific placement is called in math, because I'm not a mathematician. I'm an agriculturalist. But we know that it's in decimal form because 1, 2. 2 places, that's our decimal form. That's our decimal form of 3 inches of a foot. And I could have done that from the very beginning. I could have written, 3 divided by 12. Could have done that math. It would have given me 0.25. But I wanted to show you a little bit of that equalness in fractions. But I think that's all I want to talk about, is how to go from fractions to decimals to fractions to decimals to percentages. So yeah, I'll see you later. Have a great day. I hope you like learning with me. Like, subscribe, comments down below. Tell me what you want to learn. So yeah, have a great day. Bye.